This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening night club.
We're not opening a nightclub.
It's the opening night club. We can't wait to watch an opening night show, because on opening night we always go with our opening night club. Opening night club.
Welcome to the Opening Night Cut podcast. This is the podcast we get together every week to discuss and celebrate local theater all over Central Washington. I'm your host, Kevin McKee, and with me today, I am pleased to have local actor, director, author, fundraiser, man about town, and my friend Matthew Pippin. How are you doing, Matthew?
Fine, thank you. I love that intro. That just makes me so happy when I hear it. It's just a lovely intro.
I've been using, of course, that's not real people, that's all AI, but I've been using AI for a lot of this, and whatever kind of makes me giggle, that's the take I use. So that one kind of made me giggle, so I was going. So we went with it.
Yeah, I totally dig it. I can see the curtain and their happiness. I feel it.
I don't know that I've said it on the podcast before, but I was really going for something. I wanted to use something that sounds like the Bugs Bunny theme song, right? Overture, Hit the Lights, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Because I just love the energy and the feeling of opening night.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of going with that. And I hopefully we got that.
And it does have that vibe of let's put on a show.
Yes, that's definitely it. So you just finished, we finished a show together. We finished The Minutes a couple weeks ago. You just finished Follies, where you were backstage at Follies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind paying my dues backstage and earning my keep. You know, I'd rather be on the stage, of course, but I was running Spotlight for it.
Nice.
And one of the kids that was up there, because everybody younger than I is a kid, and one of the kids up there was one of my students at Eastmont, which was, again, they're an adult now.
Yeah.
And it was strange because they're one of my kids. But I loved it. I do enjoy working backstage. And the Pack has such a wonderful crew, you know, run by Mike Locke and Kylie Boggs. I love that little family there.
Yeah. Well, I might have worked more with you backstage than on stage.
Yeah, because what was that we did backstage?
We've done a fair amount of
apple blossoms and
up on the rigging on the first level up above the stage. So I didn't even put that on your list. You have a big long list of things that you've done in town. We did want to talk. We've got a couple shows coming up. Mm-hmm. We've got the Radar Dames at the Liberty Theater.
Correct. And that's, Saturday the 14th for Valentine's Day. I don't know when this will air, but yes, the Radar Dames are a burlesque troupe started in the radar station that I still lament.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, man. Perfect place for insane people. But anyway, Ron Evans, started Radar Station, and that was then they started this burlesque troupe there. Moxie Rose is our leader, and I joined it about a year into it. And I never dreamed at my age and body type that I'd be taking my clothes off and having a lovely time making people laugh doing it, And there's times where I have made more money in one night doing two numbers than I have the entire run of a show in tips and ticket sales, which is just insane.
That's awesome.
To me. It's crazy. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And because I think everybody that goes in knows what to expect. They know there isn't going to be, you're not going to see some handsome hunk up there when they announce that I'm coming on, or I'm in my drag persona of Melba Jean. Mm-hmm. And so they know what to expect. They know that they're going to be getting me. And I try to think of what could I do that's funny to watch and
entertaining.
Entertaining, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of Radar Dames. It's burlesque, but it's entertainment.
100%. Like last October, I sang poisoning pigeons in the park while tossing dead birds at people.
Nice.
And fake dead birds, I think. They were fake. And that was fun. I had a lovely time.
That's awesome. So we've got that coming up, and we also have
The Precious Little Theater film that's going to be there, North 40 Dead, and that's also a fiscal sponsor is the museum for
Gotcha.
that. And the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, where I do work my day job because theater doesn't pay as well.
no. It's hard to make theater pay in Wenatchee.
Very hard. I mean, I get a couple of bucks for things I do, and that's always really wonderful when you get paid for your time and energy and talent. But you got to love what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to starve to death on it. So I work at the Wenatchee Valley Museum, and we're going to be closing here May 16th and going under a renovation that is essentially there. If you know the Wenatchee Valley Museum, they have a sky bridge that connects two elderly buildings that used to be the post office, one from 1918, one from 1931. And they're taking out the sky bridge and building what's essentially a third building to make this one long complex.
Oh.
So it'll be closed for 2 years and under these wonderful renovations and just make it really cool and groovy. And anyway, this beautiful museum is a fiscal sponsor of the Precious Little Theater that will be coming out
Perfect.
on the 19th, the first time it'll be seen at the Performing Arts Center.
Yeah.
About the Performing Arts Center.
Yes. And I think it's focused on really 4 people in the Valley that have really made the PAC useful and important. And I think it's Paul Atwood, Jamie Donegan, going to mangle his name, but it's the director of the symphony, and Fabulous Feet.
Yeah.
I think those are the 4 organizations that kind of
Except I've
focused on.
never heard of Paul Atwood or Jamie Donegan. Those names are totally foreign to me. You know what's crazy? I met Paul, it was 30 years ago last year.
Wow.
I would have known Paul Atwood for 30 years. And he was assisting Pam Cole, and I was in the teen chorus over at the Wenatchee High School for Bye Bye Birdie.
So
And
what year?
that was 95.
95.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the first time I met Paul Atwood.
Okay.
And then Mary Thresher?
Yeah.
Thresher?
Oh, yeah.
Mary also worked on that show. And I had no idea that we had crossed paths back then because we're great buddies now.
Yeah.
And on January 24th is Neil Diamond's birthday, and she bakes a bunch of chocolate cakes and delivers them around town. And to get a cake, you have to light the candle and sing happy birthday to Neil Diamond.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Thresher still, I think, on nearly all of the high school shows, and she does it on a few, where she does the Mystic Mint ceremony for the tech crew.
Oh, yeah.
So that one, for those of you who don't know, this is a ceremony that we have before the show opens, generally just with the tech crew, and we do it to call the theater gods to keep us all safe. So that is Mary Thresher's thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she will put that together. And it's the Mystic Mint ceremony, and they stopped producing Mystic Mints, the mint cookies, and so I think we used like mint Oreos.
That was the last time I did it with her. Yeah, it was mint Oreos. But she makes a hell of a chocolate cake too.
Okay. Neil Diamond. Yeah. So she's a Neil Diamond fan.
Oh, yeah.
Then. Okay.
She's our Cracklin' Rose.
I was never much of a Neil Diamond fan, and I was I was working in Atlanta, and we were at a house party, and they were playing Neil Diamond, and I was like, oh man, I really don't like Neil Diamond. And the girl, it was her house, and she was like, well, I say, well, yeah, it's not my thing. I don't think he's that talented. And she says, yeah, he put me through college. My dad has worked on his crew for 30 years. He's my godfather.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was, it was another situation where Kevin puts his foot in his mouth.
I will show myself out.
Exactly. That was, anyhow, I've known you for quite a while, but I really don't have a good background of you, like as you came up, how you got started in theater. What is your first theater experience? When did you get the theater bug?
Oh, I was really young. I was at Mission View Elementary School. And the woman that got me involved in the theater, she's of course since passed, but she got me involved in it. Was a musical musical play. I don't know what you would call it, because it wasn't full out musical. It wasn't full out play, but it was something, the kids to do. And Pinocchio Don't Smoke That Cigarette. And I was Pinocchio. And
that was your song? Pinocchio Don't Smoke That Cigarette?
That was the name of the show.
Wow.
That was about not doing drugs. And Cyrus B. Snake was the bad guy who would give Pinocchio the drugs. And
wow.
Yeah.
In grade school.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was cast in that, and it was I wanted, when I auditioned, a friend of mine wanted to go, and when I was watching the auditions, I thought I like to play, so sure, I'll come out audition for this play, not knowing a damn thing about it. And I was watching the people auditioning that were auditioning for the part of the radio. They would get to talk into a microphone. And I thought, that is so cool. I want to be the radio. That would be so fun. And then I got Pinocchio. And it was a silly short show about not doing drugs. And it was canceled after X amount of rehearsals.
Oh.
And then I got to do it 2 years later, though. So when I was in third grade the first time around, and then fifth grade when it was officially.
And did you still play Pinocchio?
Yeah, I got to be Pinocchio.
Okay.
And then I didn't do another lead for 13 years. And I did marvelous little character parts. And I've learned that the lead sucks. It's a lot of work, a lot of responsibility. I've
talked about that a lot. I think both of us are character actors in town. We get character actor parts, and I love them.
Mm-hmm. No, I love a nice, tight character part. I mean, I'm not delving too far into it right now, but give me a nice, something I can come out, I could shine for a little bit, go back, have a sandwich, let everybody else sweat, and then I'll come in and, say goodnight. I love that.
I think that was the thing. We just finished the minutes, and I was kind of central to that, and I didn't have any over-the-top character. I mean, at the end I did, but for the most part, I was just I was filling that leading man role where I don't have a lot. Everybody would play off of me. I didn't get anything. I didn't have bits. And so, it took a long time to figure out how that thing worked, because character actor is a little bit easier, I think, for me.
I had a hell of a time with that show just because you and I, with my character, I didn't really interact with you a lot, except in my presentation, I know we had some direct lines with each other. But for the most part, because I played my character so frightened of everything and everyone that I was just kind of living in my own little world of, I want to get the hell out of here and be away from all of this. And so it was difficult because I didn't interact with anyone until the end. And when we would do the flashback scene of the minutes, and then I was much more relaxed, much more buddy. But I came up, I stood behind you, I talked directly to you. I would lean over and nudge Aaron and talk to him. And where the rest of the time, if he tried to talk to me at all, it was eyes on my own paper. I wouldn't look at him. I wouldn't talk to him, just because my character was living with such regret. And it was a difficult show to do because I lived in such a fear. And then I would get tenser and tenser and tenser as the show went on. And, so it was nice when the show was done. It was nice to relax all my muscles.
Well, I've always appreciated that about you, just because you are such a strong actor, and you'll commit to a part, and you will be able to maintain that through the show. All of your lines, you've figured out why they're there and what you're going to do with them. And I think it's something that we've got a lot of new actors that are just learning that. And so I think that, I know and I didn't see it, but back in the day you did Elephant Man, which definitely requires that you've got to be in all the way.
Oh, yeah. And what was strange about 2019 was the year of difficult theater for me, because I did Hands on a Hard Body for Hot August Nights was Hands on a Hard Body in August, and then that September was The Elephant Man. And Hands on a Hard Body, I played this just ugly, right-wing, kind of smarmy, sexist, racist bastard in Hands on a Hard Body that was really just a lonely, sad man who would go from this confident person of trying to stand and win this truck, which sounds like a crazy idea for a musical, and to go into this total sad sack sobbing, tears, just acceptance, because he's so tired at the end of his run trying to win this truck after being awake for 96 hours on a Texas parking lot, and to go from that, then Elephant Man, where John Merrick, his emotions were very constant throughout the whole thing. Not that he didn't have varying degrees, but I'm a man. This is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But physically, it was the hardest part I've ever done, because I had to, I would walk out just in wearing underwear and in Victorian underwear. And then as Peter Kapler played Dr. Treves, and he would describe with pictures behind me of the real Mr. Merrick, what he looked like, what he went through, and it was the physical contortions of the actor, it wasn't the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And to hold that for 2 hours then. So I went from emotionally the hardest show to physically the hardest show in a month.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, I look back and I can't, like, you can't see this now, but that's how I held my hand for 2 hours, crossing my fingers like that as I would hold it. And
yeah.
And the slobbery, his mouth was described as a slobbering aperture. So there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
That would clear up as he spoke, because I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do that to an audience the whole time.
Yeah.
And my my death scene was my first death scene in a show. It was the Elephant Man. And I'll try not to blow out anybody's eardrums, but in real life, he laid back and broke his neck. Essentially, his head was the circumference of a 36-inch waist, and he in the play, that's the pinheads that
Mm-hmm.
lay him back, and then he suffocates. And so I would, hopefully you can get this. As I would do that
As you're suffocating on your back.
Yeah. And I got people that, I had to cover my ears. I had to cover my eyes. It broke my heart. That was so sad. And I was imitating a bulldog we had that used to just start doing that. And then she'd stop and we'd look at her and, "You okay, Maxie?" And, that was just a noise she made. And so I was doing an impression of our bulldog.
Perfect. You use what you can.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know I went totally off track or whatever you asked me, but
that perfect.
that's where it
Okay.
went.
So you had character parts at Wenatchee High School? You graduated from Wenatchee?
I actually came out when I was in 9th grade, and it was not pleasant. So I moved to Eastmont my sophomore year.
Okay.
And it was much nicer there.
Okay.
And Kurt Newman was the person running the program, the drama program, when I got there. And I got some wonderful, wacky shows that when I look back on it, to do at Eastmont. And Woman in Mind was this British comedy, dark comedy, was the first one we did. And then The Curious Savage, which is kind of a staple for high school shows. But boy, I love that. I still have so much love and affection for that show. Then Mark Waver came on my junior year and took over the drama program. And we did The Madwoman of Chaillot, Scapin, a Moliere play. And then my senior year was The Mousetrap, and then You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they weren't doing musicals then until Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown was the first musical that they had done in a couple of years. They had done one before I got there, and it was a takeoff, like a 1960s version of Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. And I have Googled, and I feel like it's a fever dream. I've had friends that were in it,
But you can't find it anymore.
but I cannot find anything like about it, like to even look it up. And like at one point there's a song, "What good is being a beatnik if being a beatnik's passe?" I saw that when I was like 14.
That's
and
awesome.
I remember that lyric, and I remember seeing it. And Michael Costers was the guy that played the beatnik. I can remember this, but I cannot find anything about it. So it's almost like a fever dream.
When I went to Eastmont, Sherry Schreck ran the drama program and was all straight plays, and there was no musicals. And as a musical theater kid, it was almost painful to have to go over and watch Wenatchee High School do these enormous shows. I remember
shows.
they did West Side Story, and the FOMO was palpable. It was so emotional for me. It's like, oh, I really want to be a shark. I want to be one of those kids jumping over the fence. Yeah, it was hard.
I do love musicals. I do love being a part of them. I have a character voice, like, I wouldn't, like John Raitt, or something like that. Back in like Carousel, these strong, masculine, wonderful. That is not my voice.
Yeah,
I have a character voice, but I have a lovely time doing it live, and it doesn't bother me at all. It did when I was younger. I have a crazy voice, but I love it now. It's very distinct. There's no denying that's me, and so I love it now. And that's why another reason to love character parts.
I like it a lot. I find the leading man parts, playing them, it's a little boring.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyhow.
Well, and the lead. I mean, to be, a lead is a leader, and I mean, not saying that all the leads are just, the straight man or something like that, because I was Zaza and Lacage.
Yeah.
But, oh man, I was so scared to death of screwing that show up that I don't remember it really. I know I did it, and I had 13 costume changes a show and 3 in one song, and to sing the song "I Am What I Am," because even though it's not a difficult song, it is a titanically huge song for all the people it represents, past, present, future. And the anthem that it is, I was scared to death of screwing that song up.
It's iconic.
It is. And it's iconic. And to think going out there and being my age, I was 35. What the hell was Mr. Donegan thinking? We're getting him some help. Let's do it. But no, there was a lot of, I was just scared to death of that show. I'm still happy I did it. I'd love to do it.
You were fantastic.
Now that I'm older, I think I'd be better at it. And because a 35-year-old playing a 55-year-old is...
You did the high school shows. You worked with Wavra and did the shows at Eastmont. And then you went to school in New York.
Yes, I went to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. Dorms were on 70th Street and Broadway. They're Stratford Arms Hotel, which appears in Catcher in the Rye.
Oh.
Because it was a brothel then.
Okay.
For it. And then it became a place for the people who needed assistance mentally, elderly people. And then AMDA bought it, and they didn't have the heart to kick out the elderly patients. So there was a lot of times that it was us AMDA kids and these elderly patients. And there's one gentleman lived down the hall from me. He kept falling out of bed, and I'd hear it, and I'd get up and I'd go, his name was Emil, and I'd go pick up Emil and put it back in bed.
You were just like, you were on the same floors?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, doors apart from each other. And,
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So what did you think of AMDA?
I loved it. I learned a lot more than I thought I did, but you don't know it until you do it. The tools that they gave us, for lack of a better word, that it felt like really the first semester really felt like you're stripping off everything about me that is me, and that sucks. I mean, you fight it so hard. And then you realize, well, that should be part of acting, is to start with something totally bare that isn't yourself. And it sucks when you're that, because I was 19 then. I was held back a year. I have dyslexia. And so I graduated June of 2001 and moved to New York in June of 2001. And so I was 19. And but when you don't know yourself as well, and you're not confident in yourself, and then to try to strip away any of that you've built up this defense of, it was hell. Now I can look at it and dig what they were talking about and be like, oh yeah, I like that. I like stripping it all away. And
well, as actors, we all have ego, and especially if you're going to theater school, you're thinking, okay, I'm kind of hot crap. I'm awesome. I know what I'm doing. And then to have somebody say, no, you're just going to become a lump of clay, and you're nothing, and then we'll rebuild you. Right. That's really hard. That's a hard lesson to learn at that age.
It really is. But I dig it now. And the simplicity of things. When I graduated, there was a woman, an actress named Carol Shelley. and she was in the original Odd Couple as one of the Pigeon sisters.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was Madame Morrible in Wicked, but this was a year before Wicked came out, or 2 years, I guess, because I graduated a year after. I did 2 summer sessions. Doesn't matter. Anyway, she said at our graduation speech something that really just knocked the wind out of me, and I keep it with me, and I think about it a lot. She said, only move to improve on stillness, and only speak to improve on silence.
Wow.
And it's
wow.
Rattled me then, and it rattles me now, and every time I think about it. And there's times, and that was one thing that drove me nuts about the minutes, because I played my character as so on edge. I made it that he didn't know what to do with his hands because he was so uncomfortable with what was happening that I was trying to constantly at least move a finger or thumb. But my natural instinct is be still, because then you're distracting from the action that's happening. Even if it's something small like that, somebody might, but that was just, keeping my hands in front of me, nice on the table, and I just rub my thumb and just, okay, and everything's fine, and try not to look around too much because you don't want to distract.
Yeah.
That's a selfish thing as an actor to do. And, so that line of hers really struck me. And as I'm sitting there watching her talk, and as dumb as this sounds, the Pigeon sisters, and she was appearing at that time in Cabaret with Molly Ringwald and Raul Esparza.
Okay.
And Howland was in it.
was Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was, watching it, but she was the voice of Lady Cluck in Robin Hood. And
Really?
I'm like, and that was our go-to film as kids, is when we're homesick, put on Robin Hood. It's Lady Cluck. I was so happy. I'm still happy thinking about it.
You graduated from AMDA. Did you have a desire to stay in New York?
I did for a few years, and I did get to do little things. And I think, now people, especially when they get so petrified of telling you no, or if you audition for something, I'm just terrible. Well, if you weren't what they're looking for.
Yes.
And I had some hard ones for that. And there was one what makes me angry about it was that they called me. Like, if it had been one thing, if I had just shown up, hey, I saw this audition, thought I'd go. And then they said what I'm about to tell you. Great, I would accept that. But they called me. They had my headshot, and I went down there, and I got in, and I was reading I thought was going to be reading for this character named Polly. And I walk in, and before I got anything out of my mouth, I heard from on the other side of the table, no, he needs to be attractive.
Oh, Lord.
And, okay. Good day. Thank you. I'm going to go climb into some ice cream.
Wow. Yeah.
They always say in
you tell them you said that out loud. Do you realize that?
No, I just, okay, thank you. And I just walked out. And what are you going to do?
You can't have a thin skin auditioning in New York.
And even here, even though it's community theater, and I don't say that in a disparaging way, we work really hard, and I am proud of what we do here. And there is so much of it going on. Like you said, the minutes, and then we had Follies, and there's a burlesque show next week, trivia here at the museum the week after that, and then eventually Eastmont's Little Women, and I'm blanking on the show at Wenatchee. Forgive me, Paul.
The importance of being earnest.
Importance of being earnest.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of art and theater going on. And the Holmes and Mrs. Watson.
Yep.
Up at
ICCA.
Yeah, that opens this week. There's always this wonderful stuff going on. And so I think to have that much going on, you got to work hard, and it doesn't matter that it's community theater. You're still going to, put on the best show that you can. And I think people get that. Yeah. And, but you're not always going to fit what people are looking for. I know there's people that, like, I'm aging out of things. Physically, there's things I can't do anymore. And, that I would love to do. The kid in me still thinks so. Yeah. Because we don't know that.
We'll still show up at the dance call thinking, okay, I think I got this.
Yeah.
And we don't.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm not speaking for you there. I know me. I'll show up and the young dancers will just be flying. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot. I can't do that.
Well, I used to say that with the triple threat thing, that if you were to put that in order, mine would be acting, singing, sleeping, eating, dancing. Because that's just, I can't.
Yeah.
I can move okay if I am paid the right amount. That'll work hard and figure it out.
This is also a reason to become a character actor, because rarely do they have big dance numbers for the character actors unless that is who they are on stage.
Yeah. And even then, it's just, I look like Buddy Hackett trying to do those bell kicks,
Shapoopy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ended up coming back to Wenatchee. And how did you get back into theater? How did you reintegrate?
That's so strange, because I was taking care of my grandmother, Melba, and I would only get one night off every 2 weeks. And at the time, there was a place called Club Level in the BPO building. And I, just to get some kind of, because I couldn't commit to a show because I was with her 128 hours a week. I had a cousin that was with her Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And then it was me and her. And I couldn't do a show. And so to get some kind of acting gig out of me, I would appear in these drag shows. And I was April East as a play on Mae West because I thought that was funny, and I was the only one that would get it, but it scratched an itch in my head. And then after Melba died, the first show I did after was a drag show, and they said, "Do you want to talk about your dead grandmother?" Essentially, to the audience. And I was like, "No, I don't want to do that." And so I thought, as a tribute, my Grammy, the other one, Jean was her name. And she had passed in 2007. And with Melba recently passed like that, I thought, you know what? I'll put the two names together for tonight's performance, Melba Jean. I called my parents. I asked them, they're like, yeah, that's cool. And tribute to. And I thought it was going to be one time and done. And since then, when I'm in drag, it's Melba Jean. And it just stuck. I mean, and I kind of dig it when people are cheering for her, because then it's like I hear them cheering for my grandmothers, and I love that. I just get such a kick out of that.
And Melba Jean's a known commodity in town, I think, for the drag shows. And I remember when we did Boeing, I think even at the cast party, you came out as Melba Jean.
Yeah, I don't remember why.
Yeah.
Was there for some
Melba
reason.
Jean is always there.
Yes.
But,
I love that. The doing the old age makeup, which is getting easier and easier to do because I don't have to add as much as time goes on. But I do a stripper number where I'm the young stripper and how the boys in the balcony, it's a Jerry Herman tune, and how the boys in the balcony are yelling, take it all off, take it all off. Well, then I do take it all off, and then I'm the old stripper, and I'll change into a gray wig, and let everything hang out, and how the boys in the balcony are yelling, put it back on, and I get such a kick out of doing that. But people scream for it. It's
That's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you've created a character that is your own that people know in town, which is kind of awesome.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah. So we could probably talk about Radar Dames, because you've said before, we talked about that. You started in the second year of Radar Dames, and Radar Dames has been doing 2-3 shows a year now.
Yeah. And I joined in 2019, and our first thing we did was a Star Wars thing, a May the 4th
Gotcha.
thing was the first gig I did with them. And after a couple of shows, I said, so is burlesque just 70%? What the hell am I doing? And yeah. And you come up with this concept and you think, okay, well, I'm going to do this at this moment, this and this moment. And a lot of times you miss those moments because you're so in tune with the audience, more so than doing theater where you're paying attention to listening for a laugh or pausing. because you're right there with them and drawing them in, it's weird, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a totally different ball game.
Well, and you're also performing in non-traditional spaces. At least at the beginning at Radar Station, you really didn't know where people were going to be sitting and how close you would be to them. And so it made it a little more difficult. You've got to wing it.
100%.
You've got to improvise your blocking.
Yeah. And because we have worked at different places that wasn't just Radar Station, even when it was open, we were at once out at the golf course for Pride, and we've been, and now we're going to be at Liberty Cinema, performing in a movie theater,
which is too cool.
Yeah,
I mean that's where all of the Apple Blossom shows were up until when they built the high school. So up until the late 70s, that's when they did it. They did it.
And because I know if you go behind the screen in the main building, you can still see the 5 flights of dressing room, and which is cool, I think. And I haven't been back there in a long time, but anyway, it's crazy, but. The Radar Dames has their own following now, and I never dreamed, like I said before, I never dreamed to be a part of something like that. And I think that's just theater in its any kind of art that I'm lucky enough to be a part of, like Almir Mesterleon in Cuba. And I met him because of Radar Station, which is crazy, because I was doing the Full Monty, and we did go Full Monty in the show, and I thought to get prepared for that.
And that was an August show.
Hot August Nights, yeah.
The PAC. Okay.
That was at the PAC in 2018. And I thought, well, I got to prepare for something like that. And so at Radar Station, they would have modeling for artists. So I signed up and to do it, and I thought I was going to have 20 minutes and then go to my first Full Monty rehearsal. So it was that tight of a schedule. And the artists were going to, they're sketching. And I totally went to this Zen kind of, and somebody said, do you want a time check? And I said, yeah, please. Thinking 20 minutes must be up now. It was 45 minutes. I'd been just sitting there and, I got to go. So I never saw any of the art from the first time, and, so because of that, I kept going back because I would really like meditate when I would do it. And somebody from that met someone saw a gentleman named Jim in Pennsylvania, saw art that I'd posed for, and he asked if I'd pose for something for him. And because of his art, Almir in Cuba saw it, and that's how we got in touch. And in 2019, and we've been really great pals since then. We talk almost every day. I got to go meet him last year with TJ Farrell,
Yes, that was an amazing trip.
It was fantastic, yeah. But he's used me in a lot of art pieces, and he's created all of my book covers too. And I mean, art is so uniting. But again, things I never dreamed I'd do. I'm constantly surprised and amazed by theater and art that way, that I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that did that.
Well, no, you're doing a whole ton of stuff. You are one of the Renaissance men here in town, because leading into that, Almir did the covers for your books.
Yeah.
And how did you get into authoring? How did you get into book writing?
I hated, If I was
as a dyslexic, as a self-professed dyslexic, you've now got 3 books under your belt.
Well, excuse me, I have 4.
You have 4? I am so sorry.
It's all right.
I'm not keeping up.
No,
okay.
You are not the only one.
Okay, so you've got 4 books under your belt. How did you get into that?
I used to write for fun. I hated any kind of lessons, and if I wasn't good at it, I just didn't pursue it. And I'm sure there's something diagnosed there somewhere, but if I didn't get something, I would just turn off to it. But theater, I get, and I'm constantly learning from it, so I've never been bored by it. And if I don't get something, I get bored. And so I didn't care for English, and I didn't care for math, and the stuff that gets you ahead in life. It just wasn't my thing. But when I was living in New York, I would find that if I couldn't find a short story or something that I wanted to read, I would write it myself, and they'd be like, there's my little story. And I wrote 9 Strangers it started off as a short story that I had about a guy that got stuck in a loop of a bus crashing into a lake, and then him waking up and going through it again. It was the idea for it. The short story I was going to write for myself. And then it just kind of morphed and kept growing and wound up being a story. And I wrote it in 2 notebooks, and they lived in a drawer for 16 years after that. And
You wrote Nine Strangers.
I was 24 when I started it, and I finished it just after I turned 25. And then I found it at my parents' house. It was in a drawer there. I remember giving them those notebooks to my parents, and here, there's my book, And then I was also totally content to be like, yeah, I wrote a book. Well, where is it?
Yeah.
In its notebook.
So had you written stuff between finishing that book and refinding it?
No, I never really, I never did. No, I don't really. I would write little things here and there. And I wrote some sketches when we did a thing called Good Morning Tonight when Wenatchee.
I remember that.
Yeah, I wrote some sketches for that. And other than that, no, I didn't really. And so in 2023, I was down in Pahrump, Nevada with Pat, my husband, and I found those notebooks. And I remember just kind of holding them and, Benjamin Barker, running into his razors, Sweeney Todd stuff. And it was like, hello, old friends, but not thinking anything of it. But I took a picture of him, and then Almir, I remember thinking, if I send this picture to him, I have to finish this. I gotta, and I debated for quite a while. Like, am I gonna, and I sent him the picture. He's like, well, what's it about?
That was your commitment.
Yeah.
That as soon as I send this off, this is a project I have to finish.
Mm-hmm. And I did. And so when we came back, I typed it up in about 10 days, which was such a pain in the God, I hate typing. I'm really good with my right hand. My left hand, it's my index finger and middle finger that do all the typing. I don't know why, but everything else won't get involved. And my hand gets tired after a while. And so I typed it up. And
you typed an entire book in 10 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I stayed, and the thing that anybody that wants to write, that I had to keep reminding, I still now even remind myself, you cannot edit what isn't there, And so I'd open up the document and I'd start scrolling down to where I'd left off. And then I'd see, I forgot a question mark there. That word's spelled wrong. God, and so then I'm starting to edit. No, go type it on there, and then you can edit,
Once it's all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I finally just did. And as I type it up here in my office here at the museum, and on that last day, I got here at like 9 o'clock in the morning and left about 10 p.m. So it's like, I am finishing this today. Mm-hmm. And I did. And I thought, thank God I never have to do that again. Once it's typed up and I never got to type another book, done. And then 10 days later, Almir, he was, and that's been something wonderful, is not only when he creates the art, he also reads the stories as I go along. So I send him the updates, and you can see. And so he has a good idea of what art he thinks would work. And we really work well together on that. And, but he asked me about a certain thing of a plot point in Nine Strangers. I said, it doesn't matter. It's like an Alfred Hitchcock MacGuffin. It got two people where I wanted them to be. Does not matter. Yeah, but what happened? It doesn't matter, Almir. Just let it go. And then he asked me, did I change anything from when I wrote it to typing it up? Did I change? No, I basically transposed everything. Originally, I was going to kill off one character at the very end, one last murder. And then I thought, no, that'll be too too cruel to do to the readers. If, anybody read it. And he sent back, "You bastard." And I'm like, look, the guy is fine. This is his age now. If he was still alive, And then I got to thinking, I was standing at the bus waiting to come to work. And I was thinking about that. And that's how the green suitcase came about, was from Almir's little conversation. And I wrote that in a month.
Oh.
It's just, you don't know. You just don't know.
And so now you've got 4 books under your belt. And do you see this continuing?
Yes. I released last year a group of short stories called Fearsome and Delicious Tale. Anyway, a new book of short stories called Onomatopoeia. And I've got 4 stories written right now. Ding, Gush, Meow, and Crunch. Ding, Meow, Gush. Onomatopoeias.
There we go.
And I'm having fun with that. I think that's a lot of fun.
Awesome. So we've got another book coming out, and
eventually, who knows when that'll happen?
Okay, but you churned.
It's not wrong.
You released 9 Strangers in 23.
October 23.
So you've got 4 books in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. So, I've 23, 24, 25, 26. That's how I've released.
And honestly, I was putting together my notes for the interview, and I was like, yeah, you are now kind of author-actor. I think that the authoring is more of the creative space that you're in right now, in addition to being an actor.
At the moment, yeah. Not
taking away from you being an actor at all, but you've got multifacets.
Yeah, and I think I just left them on, which is the problem. I turned one of them off once in a while. That was something, doing the minutes and then agreeing to do it, but then I've also had to make sure I was keeping up on the edits for Kisses from the Moon coming out. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you what a load off my mind that was to have that book released and then go back to rehearsals, because we had those 2 weeks off for Christmas. And so it was just to make sure any last minute edits to get done. And there's still mistakes. There's no perfect book out there. Nobody speaks English perfectly. There's gonna be errors. Yeah. And you just got to learn how to live with that.
Mm-hmm. So another thing I wanted to point out was, for many years you were doing the March of the Pippin, where you had a personal fundraiser to raise money for the Performing Arts Center.
Yeah, and that all became because of the pandemic. I wanted to do something to give back to the community, to give back to the theater, and I could not think of what to do, I had just gotten dusted off my Fitbit at the time, and I was out there really pounding the pavement, and because, nobody was moving in 2020. And so I thought, well, I'll put my Fitbit back on. And this one woman, I said, hey, anybody think I can hit this number? And she's like, well, if you want to impress me, do 275,000 steps in a week. And which I thought is quite a specific number. And, but okay, sure. And then I got to thinking, if I was to do that, what if I, was getting donations for that? And then I could give something to the Performing Arts Center. And, nothing was open then, theater wise. And so it was just like, I'm going to try this. And I'm, letting the board know and letting anybody know that Alex Haley know, anybody that might be listening, this is what I'm doing. And I think that first year I raised $2,900 or something like that. I did get people saying, well, what if this is a scam? And like, well, then don't donate. I'm still going to do this. And then the person that got me going on it, she said, well, I'll donate 100, but I'll donate another 100 if you hit 300,000 steps, which is that's a lot of steps. It's equivalent in a week. It was the equivalent of walking 140 miles.
Holy crap. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah. And all in Wenatchee.
Yeah.
And so I would set a goal of 40,000 steps a day, and I would always screenshot it, show my work, and that I wasn't lying, and I'm doing it, and wearing it on the non-dominant wrist, just to be clear. And So I'd screenshot, but then I would cheat I'd walk as extra as I could to give myself some cushion for the end of the week.
Okay.
And so there would be some days that I, hit my 40,000 and then I would hit 45,000, 50,000 a couple of times just to make sure that I could get those steps in to earn the money fairly and squarely. And I did, I did it for 3 years, but damn it, my back isn't what it used to be. And I can't do that anymore. And it sucks because I'd love to do it. Like, especially the one, and because I did it in 21, 22, and 23, I did it. And the 23 was a bad idea because I was hurt by then. But in 24, if I could have done it then, the March of the Pippin for Rock of Ages and Walk of Ages,
Oh, nice.
That could have been fun.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. But oh well. What
Nice
you going to do?
So recently you have been directing here in town and working with Eastmont High School.
Yeah.
Were there things in New York that you directed?
Not in New York. Here in Wenatchee, I did. I didn't, because I didn't like working that way. Like, it wasn't, even doing stuff when I was in high school of, direct this scene or whatever. To me, it's like, okay, you do this and you create this and, that's fun. And then nobody gets to see you do it. They got to watch the actors do it. And that's boring. Like, to me at the time,
Yeah.
No, I want to be on stage. So the first thing I did directing was with Jared Morgan. We did, and then there were none.
Oh,
in
yeah.
2013. And then I did 12 Angry Men in 2017 and Witness for the Prosecution in 2019. And then Christy Pease was the producer at the time over at Eastmont, and I did Radium Girls with them and Angels of Bataan, 2 really heavy shows. But the kids picked those shows.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I'm like, what are we going to do next? Like kill puppies for the kids? And but there's some talented children in this valley, and I'm so happy that we really do cultivate that and encourage it all over, and I'd love to see, it just makes my heart so happy.
Well, and the kids come back. We now see them in other shows. We just finished The Minutes, and Dylan, Claire, he was in Short Shakes with my kids all the way through, and I had not seen him since high school, and he showed up and auditioned for The Minutes. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and I saw him as the child catcher when they did
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yeah. And I didn't recognize him, of course, because why would I pay that close attention to a high school student? But it was like, oh yeah, I did. Yes, I do remember you now. And
we see a lot of that we do have a lot of kids that came up through the high school programs, and now they're doing really good stuff. We've been working with the Apple Awards, and I've worked with that, and we have to go around and see every high school show. And after doing this for a few years, I watch all of the kids come up and get better and better, because the theater kids, they're going to do every show. So we see a lot of them, and boy, it's a lot of fun. We are seeing, I just saw the Kashmir show. We've got the Quincy show is coming up, and the Ephrata show. I think they're doing Grease opening this weekend in Ephrata. So it's kind of fun to see these kids, and as they grow in their theater knowledge and ability.
Yeah, and I love that it's becoming so much more, not to sound like it wasn't before, but integrated, like before you didn't really get to see that growing up. And I still, as the adult stuff here, I'd like to see more integrated stuff going on. And I don't know how to do that. So hopefully this younger generation coming in is going in and being like, let's all play together, work together. And I love that. I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
I want a Bad Bunny concert of feeling, just be seeing that on the stage here,
Yes.
And boy, goddamn, that was a good show.
That was a lot of fun. It was so happy.
It was so happy. And I felt in those final moments when Benito, because we're tight now, when he was bringing out, said, God bless America, and then named all of the American countries, that made me feel more patriotic than I had felt in a long time, in a happy way.
Yeah.
God, that was so great.
it felt like the islands. It felt like Puerto Rico.
Oh, I felt beauty
loved it.
and happiness.
Yes.
And, I just wanted to be back. Oh, I just loved it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Matthew, I think we've had a long one, but boy, this is good. I think we could probably go for another half an hour and talk about stuff. I do want to before we finish, what's your dream roles?
Oh,
If you could do any show, and this could be as an actor or director, but probably as an actor, what would you like to do? What would you like to be?
as a performer, I would love, I got to age into it, I think, but I'd love to be, I'd love to just one performance, Mrs. Lovett, Sweeney Todd. I'd love to be Mrs. Lovett just once.
Yeah.
And the Wizard. I'd love to be the Wizard and Wicked. I think that'd be a delightful part to play. And I love his song. And it's a fun little song. And as a director, I want to do the play Rope, but I want to do what Hitchcock did from the screen. I don't want to do the script that was from the 1920s.
Okay.
And because it's a chilling story, the Leopold Loeb murder, kind of thing that was a takeoff. And it was a play with homosexuality in it, the 1920s, but you didn't say it. It's all alluding to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And which is the same as Hitchcock's film on a lesser degree. And I have a dream of directing that someday.
Okay. Awesome.
Now,
Yeah, I was not thinking that that's what you were going to say.
I don't know what I'm thinking sometimes either.
No, that's super exciting. What are you looking forward to for you in the next year or so?
Just surviving.
Well, you've got another book.
I got another book eventually. Yeah, Onomatopoeia will be out sometime soon. But really, just getting through it. This last year was absolute hell as far as, yes, it's our job to entertain and it's our job to help make people forget. But where do we go? And anytime I tried to talk about it, people would be like, oh, shut up and it's entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like almost brushing it off, like pull yourself together no, I'm hurting too.
Yeah.
And I got to talk about it. And having this fear and fright and of the unknown going on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And we're not even living in the worst of the worst that's going on the planet. And yet it's still there and it hangs over us, especially when you're a feeling person, or a person of good conscience, as I said not too long ago.
Well, but we also have the opportunity that we can use art to talk about it without talking about it directly. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think we did a little of that in the minutes. I think a lot of that we were able to let people see different sides of what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
I think good art can reflect life.
Oh, yeah. And we were holding up a funhouse mirror, really, to what's been going on. And that was therapeutic that way. And I'm so thankful Mr. Higgins trusted me to be in that part and play with you all. That I'm always going to be thankful for that.
No, it was lucky to have you. You had a great part, a great character, and I was really happy to be in that show. And happy to do it in Wenatchee.
And that was the first time we played together in 10 years, right? From Boeing Bowie.
Been that long?
Yeah. That was January 2016.
Okay. Wow, that was a long time ago.
And a totally different kind of show.
That was a different kind of show. Okay. Well, do you have anything before we wrap it up?
I wish everybody love and I wish everybody light. Go see some magic.
Go see some magic. So if you're listening to this, we're going to tell you to go watch opening nights. Go see any show. Go watch live performance. There are people out there that want to participate with you in that kind of way, actor, audience, back and forth. And whatever you do, make sure you go out and see another opening night.